Hello everybody, I'm back today with another deck for you, and this time we're going to be playing a deck that you've probably seen at some point recently. It is a deck that was played in the recent Gwent Open that was played at the weekend, and it is a deck built by Molegion. It's a square tile deck, it is Filavandrel, and I was having a lot of fun with it on stream, off stream. I think it's a really cool deck, it's well built. It obviously is utilising that Filavandrel leader, the boost that you get from that in a, long round, 10 cards, getting boosted by it, and, getting engine value, things like the Hawker Smugglers to hand buff your hand even more than what Filavandrel gives you, as well as other things such as, Defenders, which obviously work very well with Filavandrel's ability, and just a bunch of other long round cards like Pavko, Yennefer, Okvist, Gabor, etc. There's so many of them. The idea is to overwhelm your opponent with these engine cards and really, prevent them from winning a long round, and just kind of abuse that fact by playing a very short round 1 and making sure you take control of the game in round 2 and 3 with all that long round potential. Really awesome deck by Molegion. I think a lot of people have played it at this point, have tried it out. I wanted to, of course, give it a go on the ladder, see if it holds up, see if it's only tournament worthy. Obviously, it's going to be a lot better on red coin because you can pass very early in round 1 without the threat of the opponent overcoming you in tempo. But, you can work around often on blue coin. Things like Defender plus Tactical Advantage can be quite good if you're not running into tool removal, as well as, playing Volunteers out, maybe playing a higher tempo card like Synthesis or something else. And yeah, pretty much, if you're able to get to round 2 and 3, you're going to be able to beat most decks in a long round. Not every deck, but a fair amount of them. With that being said, let's look at the cards a little bit more. We, of course, have all the hand buff stuff. We have the Smugglers, we have King of Beggars as well. We actually have Dragon Synergy with Ike, which is pretty cool to deal with those pesky big units that people are often running. You have, of course, Okvist and Synthesis to trigger that. Yennefer plus Pavko is a pretty nice combo. You can whack down a couple of their units to equal strength, and then Yennefer, and, hit them all for big damage multiple times during a round. You have Paulie to give stuff immunity, which is very nice. You have the Unicorn Carinax, which are harder to kill at 5 strength, which is pretty neat. And you have a lot of filler bronzes. The Agitators work well with Sheldon for a nice finisher that the deck would otherwise maybe lack. Of course, when you've got all your hand buffs going off onto this guy, you're going to get so many points for round 3, and even if they bleed you all the way down, that finisher power is really going to often beat what they can, muster in round 3. So, very nice. And we have Dragoons, we have Skirmishers, we have a Wolfpack, Archer, etc. to fill out the deck. And, counter a couple of things. Archer's very good against Necker, Dragoons are good against Northern Realms, moving their engines and whatnot. So, all in all, very competent deck. A lot of fun to play. The sequencing of the engines definitely matters a lot. And, even when you're getting bled all the way down, that Sheldon in round 3 can just knock them out, or the carryover you have from the hand buff can just wreck them, even if they're pushing that long round. Anyway, let's jump into a game or two and see how it plays. Okay, looks like our opponent will be Brewer. Definitely going to be one of the trickier matchups, I think. Brewer, of course, having a very good long round with, traps or lacerate to kind of wreck you if you go to round 3. But we're going to probably have to do that as the Filavandrel deck does. We'll get to see, though, who is favoured in the long round, so that should be interesting. Pretty okay hand. We have Sheldon and we have Agitator to kind of get some carryover in round 1. We can get rid of a Skirmisher here. Potentially another Skirmisher, although that's quite a nice card to drop early in the game, so I don't mind holding on to it. Rest of the hand's pretty solid, so let's keep it. We want to get rid of 3 bad cards here effectively, and then we'll be able to go to round 2. Just realised my camera was a little bit off there. Oh well, that is totally fine. Actually, I'll make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Improvisation. Bear Grylls would be proud, I'm sure. Alright, that's going to be a Hawker Smuggler. We have a nice answer to that in the form of Dragoon, so let's, of course, play that one out, if we're able to. The opponent passes. So this looks like the hand buff, the King Chesney list. They're running a couple of traps, for sure, in that. I'm not sure if we can win the long round against them. I'm hoping we can, but I guess we'll find out. Let's whack that Dragoon down. Move the Hawker. And that's going to deny that value very nicely, unless they have their own Dragoon, which they do. Okay, no problem. We can definitely play our own agitator. Our own little bit of hand buff. Get it onto Sheldon. Get the carryover on his ability, of course. They can't see it because I'm blocking it. But that'll be their skirmisher. Now we can respond with our own and then probably take the pass after that and hope we are winning the long round. I could have also killed this. In fact, that might be worth it. Might have been worth it. I probably should have done that actually in reality, but whatever. Slipped my mind. I was focused on getting rid of the bad cards here, which, you know, it's not that bad. Not that bad of a thing. So his dwarves come out. We're going to pass now. And hopefully our long round will be better than Brewer's. I'm not sure if it is, though. It's definitely one of those, you know, more questionable matchups where maybe we will get a little bit outpowered, a little bit bullied out with the row damage and whatnot. This hand looks reasonably fine. We maybe just want to get rid of volunteers. They're not actually very good. Only a few points. Get rid of them as well. And, you know, they're not engines. They require us to have a dwarf on the board. Probably just better to have, you know, as much power in the hand as possible in case we get pushed here. Which is possible we will. It's a pretty low tempo place. We don't imagine they're going to push, but we still will use Filavandrel, I think. Just to make sure we get, you know, all the value on that. If we do get pushed this round, we're not going to be in trouble. Feels a bit wonky using it if we know they're not going to push, because we could get more value from it later, but only a few points. It doesn't typically matter. You're pretty much always just fine to go for it. And they're going to play Gabor for immunity, which really does suggest that they want to push here a little bit. We could just throw down King of Beggars. I quite like it. It's going to mean we get as much hand buff as possible. If they go for the pass, which they can, we can just throw down Gabor, a bit of resilience. It's not even like really playing a card because we'll get those points for the next round. Okay, Sheldon coming down. That's a really big play. Very, very powerful. So let's go with Defender now. We need to get this engine value kind of rocking and rolling. We got some hand buff, you know, despite him having Brewer and being able to move our guys. So that's pretty good for us. And it looks like Ike will be valuable here as well, which is great to see. So he has, you know, damaged our Defender, which is pretty annoying. We can go with Paulie though to, you know, buff that up. And we're going to have an icon to this, which I do think is enough points. Ike has been boosted quite a lot, so that's nice. Going to be Witches, so we can use this Paulie to reactivate our, you know, Defender. It looks like they're going pretty much all in this round, which I don't think is actually that bad of a thing for us. Let's play the Ike. I don't think it's going to get a better target than this. We're not even that far behind in points. If we can get Ocvis down, and if it doesn't get answered, we're going to be looking very good here. But I think, since they just played an Ocvis, we can go with Sheldon now. Make sure that we're safe and get an extra card over the opponent. They've used all of their leader charges already. So it's looking really good for us if we're winning this round here. Plus we can maybe play Gabor if we're able to here, that'd be great. It is only 6 points, so you know, we're maybe a little bit vulnerable to things that could come out. We could play our Kyrenex. I think I'd rather just go with the Resilience. I think if we get that Resilience out, we're going to be winning. Even if we have to play another card here, which we don't right now because of Defender. That is going to be a trap of some kind. Interesting. I guess we can go with Ocvis now. If that is, it's going to be 8 points for him effectively. We get a further 2 from the Defender, so we should be fine to play this, I think. We'll play it here in case, you know, we don't want Gabor to get hit by the crushing trap if it is one. And this Ogfish should mean we always pretty much get the card if they push it, right? Because it's doing a lot of damage. Yeah, even though they have crushing trap, sure. Don't think it's going to matter too much. Now, which is better to hold on to, the Dragon or the Kyrenex? I think I actually kind of prefer the Dragon. As weird as that sounds. Ah, maybe not. Ah. The thing is, it's like a proactive play that I could make. And it's actually, you know, the same amount of points. I don't know, it shouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Yes, we can draw a Unicorn and maybe get more value, but I don't think we'll need it. I think if we're drawing a Unicorn, we're winning anyway, basically, because we're going to have so many points. So they've kind of played right into our strategy here of course, having that really long round 2. Getting that carryover for ourselves. And it's just going to be a win. Very nice. That's a clean game. The deck definitely could do some nice things, as seen there. Alright, let's jump into another game then, and see if we can win another. Alright, we're going to be going up against Unseen Elder now. Bit of Death Wish. Not one that you see too often, but not the weakest monster leader ever, I don't think. Right, what are we mulliganing? So of course, we're on red coin again, that's really great. If you're on blue, it's definitely a lot more difficult to win with this deck, but you can, you know, try to tempo out and survive the round one on 7 cards or whatever. Here we've got, you know, 3 quite decent plays in the dwarf, the other dwarf and the dragoon. Let's get rid of a defender and then a dragoon, I think. Try and improve the hand a little bit, maybe get some carryover cards. We didn't find any, that's okay. So we've got maybe Dragoon first play, I think is fine, because we want to make sure we can at least hit something with Skirmisher, so that we can get Volunteers out the deck this round. If we can't, then it's a bit of a shame, but we can just play that as a 3-point card as well, not the end of the world if we have to. Fiend's coming down, so he's getting his own carryover, which is pretty neat. Let's play that Dwarf now. Yeah, it's only 4 points, but that's fine. We're even ahead right now, which is pretty crazy with this deck. If you're able to, you know, get 2 cards from them in round 1, then make sure they can't really bleed you. Doesn't happen too often, though. Naturally. God, Double Fiend is actually pretty scary if he's got a lot of Deathwish cards. Let's get those Dwarves out the deck, though. And we'll probably go with the pass after that, even though we're not too far behind in points. It's more just the case of, you know, feeling like our long round is going to be better than his. So we want to maybe leverage card advantage in round 2. We could even play Ike here, though, if we wanted to kind of pressure a little bit. I don't think we need to ever do that. It's pretty much never right to play past 7 cards in round 1, because you're just losing out on potential leader value. You're going to have to make a pass later down the line in round 1, probably, right? And unless you win that round, then yeah, it's a bit of a gamble, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Dragoon we can get rid of, not very good long round. Archer I don't think is going to find value against Neckers or anything, so I'll get rid of that one as well. Wolfpack is not ideal, but don't always have the perfect hand. It's going to be an Ancient Foglet. So of course we're going to Filavandrel to make sure we don't get, you know, wrecked here. And we'll start with Hawker Smuggler. I think it might get moved by Drowner, but realistically this engine never really survives very long. Predatory Dive going to come out. Interesting. So it did die, that's alright. We can now commit some Dwarves, I think. These are going to be our sort of secondary engines, which might die to tool removal, but they might also live to tell the tale. And yeah, with 1 point per turn, it's going to be maybe hard for him to bleed us all the way down without losing a card, so probably commit the other Dwarf this round. Use that Ike to get a lot of tempo if we need it, and you know, we can always play Yennefer if we have to as well. Looks like that Dwarf is going to be disabled, unfortunately. In fact, it might be worth not playing the next Dwarf, just because the Rot Fiend is on the board and can kind of deal with it, right? Potentially playing Yennefer here is better. I think I'm going to go for it. I think we're going to need to get pretty much all our engines out of the hand here if we want to have a chance against the long round here. Maybe not. Cyclops can deal with our Yennefer, which is kind of annoying, but not the end of the world either, I don't think. We have just so much reach with things like Sheldon, Kyrenex and whatnot. Pretty much always going to be higher tempo plays than what they're throwing out, especially if they're trying to remove engines, so it should be okay, largely. We'll see though. We will see. Looks like it's just going to be a Crone. That's good for us. Doesn't really do that much, and we can actually kill this with Ike if we want. And I think we do want that. I think we do want that. If they steal this with Maruna, we can kill it, so it's not going to be the end of the world. Let's just make sure we get the Ike value and don't deny any Yennefer value. Of course, she wants to hit the highest unit, so by killing the Ike target, you know, we're not going to miss any value on Ike from the Yennefer procs or whatever. So we do that immediately, and then we can go with maybe the Dwarf next turn, or maybe we have to use some removal here to kill an engine of theirs. We'll see. Maybe just an Ancient Foglet. That's not too scary at all. So let's keep it going. Let's play another Dwarf now, because We want to make sure we're safe here and have enough engine power to make sure we get that card. We've effectively been given a card at this point. There's not really any way I see us losing it. Predatory Dive isn't even too good for them now. Especially if it hits our dwarf. If they are running that one. A second one. Wouldn't be too bad. It's going to be a werecat. Alright. Not particularly scary. I think we actually use the werewolf here. Wolf pack, sorry. Werewolf? I'm going crazy. Just so that we can hit both of these foglets. Get a little bit of extra Yennefer value. Seems quite nice to me. We could have killed the werecat, but I'm not really worried about that. It looks like he'll eat it himself. It's going to be a lot of points if he does. But not really enough, I don't think, to get a card ever. So we have a decision to make here. What do we play? Maybe the Chironex? Maybe not. Kind of the least value card, the least valuable card we want to play here, right? Maybe even Okvist isn't going to be worth that much, so I'm going to play it, I think. It's going to be a reasonably short round. And of course, if there's not many units on the board, it's not going to do much. That's going to be the pass from the opponent. Alright. So managed to get a card again. If you're able to pass on 7 cards and they push you, you often can with the amount of engine power you have. And, you know, effectively your leader is a 10-point play if you play it in round 2. With a bit of carryover, so that's really awesome. Let's get rid of the Skirmisher, not very good here. Hawker Smuggler's okay. We could go for Pavko or Unicorn, but I think we're probably alright to hold on to that hand. We might get to buff Sheldon a little bit more and get some more value on that, potentially. Now, in theory, we could be in trouble here a little bit. And our Hawker Smuggler will probably be dealt with by, you know, their Death Wish unit of whatever kind, maybe Manticore, or whatever it might be. Which is a little bit annoying, but I don't think it's the end of the world by any means. We have some very nice plays in hand, a 10, another 10, and a 9. Potentially an 8 here, and a 7 with Gabble, so should be okay, right, in theory. And that is a pretty weak card from the opponent. Nice to see. Let's throw down this Gabble on the Range Road, give him immunity. Make sure we get some extra value with our dwarves in hand right now. Gabble is insanely good in this deck. It's just such a valuable card. Engine value, resilience is even more important in round 2 often. It's going to be just a muzzle. Interesting. I suppose we can play poorly now, to be honest. On the back row, we're going to be a little bit vulnerable to Manticore, but whatever. Don't think it's the end of the world. We're up quite a few points right now. We can Chironex that Abaya as well. Make sure the Thrive value isn't there. And I imagine we'll probably be okay in this game. Crone, not going to be enough to kill poorly. Which means we can give immunity to... Sorry, not immunity. We can give... oh wait, yeah, this is immune, so we can't buff it. I always forget that every time. Whatever, we'll just not take the buff yet, that's alright. In fact, looks like it's not alright. We do give him quite a few points there. But whatever. That was a bit of a mistake, guys. Should have definitely just buffed the Chironex, I think. We ended up losing quite a few points. I think it's okay. Because we're still ahead by quite a bit, and we have a 10-point play at the end here, so... Plus, it's very hard for them to get more Maruna value, right? We don't have a 3 on the board. I think we're alright. But yeah, a little bit of a mistake from my part. I'm sorry, guys. But we still end up winning by quite a large margin. Kind of shows how strong this can be, right? Very cool deck. I do love it. It was a nice creation from Molegion, and it can do quite well on ladder, especially if you're not getting too many blue coins. If you're hitting those red coins, then you're going to be in a great spot. Alright. That was a fun deck. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do subscribe if you'd like more videos. Of course, I'll be covering more cards tomorrow that have been revealed, as I have been doing. And I'll see you next time.